They walked for kilometers, pain from years of waiting etched in their faces. Syrians from across the country are converging on the most notorious prison controlled by a regime which has now collapsed. They're searching for loved ones who disappeared years and sometimes decades ago.
My brother was detained in 2014, and it was very hard to know where they took him at first. Then I found out he was in Sednaya. He wasn't accused of anything.
It's a story we heard time and time again. It's only now, in a new Syria, free of the much feared security agencies, that people have at least a chance of knowing the truth. Tens of thousands of Syrians disappeared in recent years. There are cases documented by human rights groups. Families look for any evidence, any clue that will bring them closure. But the prison guards are gone. What's left are unsubstantiated claims.
Officials say that 3 days before the city of Hama was liberated, the prison guards transported prisoners to the regime's stronghold of Latakia as hostages, and we don't know how many of them there are.
Within the walls are untold stories of horror. When the opposition took ground from the regime, they opened the doors of detention centers across the country. But in Sednaya, only a few hundred walked out. The search for answers in this darkness continues. For many Syrians, this prison is a symbol of the Assad dynasty's brutal rule. The images that are coming out of this detention facility are the reasons why people took to the streets in 2011 to demand justice, the rule of law, and democracy. A former detainee himself, Nader came back to help find what people here believe are underground cells.
We were imprisoned here during the early months of the revolution. We endured years of torture and brutality, whatever you can imagine.
This was where prisoners were hanged, executed. In Syria, this prison is known as the human slaughterhouse. Human rights groups say it was a death camp, and they have documented the deaths of thousands, either from torture or starvation.
The last time I visited my brother in this prison, his condition was very bad. It was in 2017.
Syrians are now free to speak of the decades of repression, but it seems they refuse to come to terms with the reality.
We were told there were 3 floors underground, but after checking we know there are no underground floors, only individual cells.
Rights groups reaffirmed this and say there are no more prisoners inside Sednaya. Regardless, civil defense volunteers say they will keep digging, if only not to destroy hope. Zeina, Khodr, Al-Jazeera, Sednaya, Damascus.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.